Hey guys, it's Kay Journey, and I am back today with something a little bit new. And I think I fixed the auto focus on my phone. We'll see if it actually works. If it doesn't, I apologize. I actually already filmed this once and forgot to do the thing, so we're doing this again. It's gonna be fine. So what I am doing today is I am actually creating like a chart for all of the arcs for my series. Um, what's going into this is a whole lot of different things. Number one, everything else that I'm tracking my story in is kind of precious. They're nice planners, it's nice paper, it's things that I want to keep pretty. And that's kind of becoming a problem for me, actually, a really big one. I need a place where I can just make a mess. Um, and I think that's for now, I just kind of want to use this. So this is an old sketchbook. It's 11 by 14, and most of my paintings and things like that that require sketchbooks are or sketchbook paper, like to lay out stuff, are actually 12 by 18. And I've got a couple of sketchbooks in that size. So this sketchbook has literally been sitting on my shelf for years. And I've already used a bunch of pages doing like scratch notes for writing and things like that. So I'm really excited to be in this actually. Um, so what I'm talking about right now is well, let's start with the book. So I've been working on taking my first book and turning it into serialized episodes for this month, and my second book as well. And that's been going kind of okay. It is spring break for my kids, and my youngest is home. So the mom in me is getting lots of snuggles, but the author in me is like, ah. So anyway, while I've been trying to edit that, I've also been having ideas for another part. So, and we'll get into that. But I read this book, Become an Unstoppable Storyteller, about writing serials because I'm like, okay, I'm serializing my work. So I wanted to make sure that I was, at least doing some research about it. And oh my gosh, this book, go get this book. If you want to write any sort of series or anything, this helped conceptualize things and make concrete things that were very ethereal in my head of ideas of what I knew needed to be there from having read a bazillion, series of books, but not really having kind of the exact tools that I needed to put words to it and to be able to work with those kind of ethereal things. This is just fabulous, fabulous. Um, so what I did after I read that book is I created this massive. This is 11 by 17 paper. This massive chart with all of my books, and I'm not going to show you all of it because that would not be great. So, but I'll show you this top part. It's tiny. So there's the Birthright of the Forsaken is the first series, and then there's the first book, the arcs that connect them, and then the whole series, and it's the introduction to the series. And then this part is mirrored over here with the next series. Now the problem with it being digital is that I can't just add notes to it while I'm thinking about doing other things. It's not sitting on my desk. I'd have to go looking for it, which makes it actually kind of inconvenient. Whereas this can just hang out on my desk or on one of the surfaces around me because I have a bazillion of those because I have a bunch of crap. So I wouldn't have to go digging through my computer looking for the correct file to find that. On top of that, I can't just add like sticky notes to it randomly while I'm thinking, or I can't just write a sticky note on the side and then when I'm ready to go connecting it to the pieces in here, just slap it in. Like it takes a whole, if I'm going to write it on the sticky note, then I have to move it to digital. It's a whole hassle that I don't want to deal with. On top of that, writing things in an analog format means that I'm going to remember them. I feel more creative with it. And I also wanted to be able to kind of mind map a little bit. And the best part about this being paper that I don't feel any emotional connection to, I'm not precious with this. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a notebook, basically. It's a sketchbook, but it's going to be a notebook from here on out because, well, that's what it's going to be. The best part about this is that I can tape stuff to it. I can move stuff around. I can rip pages out. I don't care. Like there's some ripped pages back here. And they're my pen test pages. Like I have no emotional connection to this whatsoever beyond, oh, yay, I can make a mess in this, which is awesome because that's what I really need to do. It's 15 books. It's a lot of ideas. It's a lot of characters. It's a lot of concepts. I need a place where I can just play, make a mess. So what I'm setting up today is something very similar to that previous chart. And I've got a bunch of crap here because I like making messes. So how this is going to lay out is here's book one, and I'm using this color. This is Birthright of the Forsaken. So this series of books is called Birthright of the Forsaken, and it starts the whole series off. And then after book 2, it jumps over and it splits. The story splits. And so over here, we've got the first book in this series, which is called Rise of the Forsaken. The whole 15-book series is in the Forsaken universe. So actually, that's going to be linked down below. I just finally created my first hashtag because technology and I are not friends, but we're becoming friendlier. I'm learning things. So anyway, so here I've got my first book, which is Old Blood. My second book, which is Cold Blood. And I am currently working on this book and this book while serializing these. It's a lot. There's a lot going on in my brain. So I need places where I can throw things. And the great part about this is that in 10 pages or so, I can throw in a bunch of notes about this book and they'll be there, which is great. I might throw some sticky notes on here to like color code and organize things, but I might not. It might just be a mess like my old bullet journals were, which worked for me for years. I loved them. So anyway, so the whole point of this is that underneath, I'm going to write down some of the main points of what happens in each of these books. And then I'm going to be able to mind map and write down the connections between these books. So this book connects to this book. Well, what's the main thing that's connecting this book to this book? And the breakthrough that I had, the massive breakthrough that I had, that really showed me how much I needed to do something like this. And I will probably orient this differently off camera. I'm filming right now, so it's kind of, I need to do it this way, but it will probably be long ways. But what happened was I found the connection between these books and the start of the next series. So let's do this, make a mess. So after that, it moves on. Those two books end separately. And then it starts with the first book in this series. And this is called Homecoming of the Forsaken. I have to look that up. I'll look it up because it's a lot. So I don't remember a lot of it. And I haven't been writing it in an analog format. I've been doing it digitally, so I don't remember, which is dumb for me. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. And then we have another series over here of 3 books. And I did those way too close together. It's fine. It's fine. And then we've got the final book in the series. So the breakthrough that I had was the connection between the end of this book and actually this book right here. So this book is actually the one that you read first, and it kind of goes in the middle here. Like these two kind of belong in the middle because these two are like where it starts. And this is the start of the end of the series. And then there's 2 books after it. And then there's these books. So the reading order is 1, 2, and then in tandem, however you want to read them, which is going to be a problem for when I'm doing serialized episodes. I'm not sure if I want to jump into book 3. So book 3 in the serialized episodes, when reading them out loud, is going to have 2 seasons. And basically all of these from here on out, they go from standalone, boom, epic series. And it's literally like explodes in all sorts of directions. And I'm not sure if I want to jump to this one, do like half of this one and then half of this one, or how I want to do it, because these two are in tandem. However, the length of time of this series goes a bit longer than this series. This series ends, and then like, I want to say years later, because this is going to take longer, turns into, anyway, it's hard to explain. It jumps into what happens, that's the prelude to this book. So this book kind of belongs in the middle. And then this book, after you read this book, you can read this book or these 2, and then, you have to read all of them, and then it's the final book, and it connects all of these things. I was having trouble connecting this series because the character in this series is super, super important to be back for this. And I have connections from this to this one and this one. But I was really, really struggling with how to bring this character home. The character that's in these books is basically in a completely different world, and I needed to figure out how to bring them home, and how to connect what happens to them here with the story here. And I figured it out, and I had nowhere to write it down. Like, nowhere. I had to jump into the computer, find the document there, find the Google Sheets document that had the thing in it, and type it in, and it was really, really frustrating. I wanted to just be able to write it on a sticky note and throw it somewhere, and I had nowhere to throw it. Now I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump off camera here and start filling these out. And I'm going to be filling out what happens in each story. But then on top of that, I'm going to be filling out the short arcs. So the arcs that go from book to book. So the thing that connects these two books, which is, they're already published. If you want to know what connects them, feel free to go read them. And then the thing that connects these two books and these two books. And I'm going to be kind of throwing them in willy-nilly, and I'm going to redo this in a better way. But then I'm also leaving this big spot up here for what connects this book to this book, and the things that kind of drag readers through each of them. But then I also want to make note of the things that happen in these books that have an effect on the entire series arc. So if you're looking at plotting, since I'm not using these pages, and I'm just going to write notes on them. So if you're looking at the entire series arc, this is the introduction and the inciting incident. And then these books here would be the first major turning point in the entire series as a whole. Because this is where, these two books is where everything changes. A character gets dragged into a different world, and another character gets dragged into a completely different fight that feels very different from the original fights, but is actually not. They're very intrinsically connected, and we figure out how they're intrinsically connected throughout this. Well, mostly at the end of this book is where you find out how all of this drama that happens here is all interconnected, and then it gets partially resolved here. Part of it's resolved here, and then part of what happens at the end of this book sparks what we find out happens in this book, and creates the environment that enables this book and these books. And then this book is where it all kind of comes together and funnels together. So in the middle, I'm going to be writing like what it is for the main series. So this is the first turning point. And then I would say that here and here are the mirror moments for the entire series arc, not just for my main characters, but for the world itself. This is a moment where the world looks at itself and goes, oh my gosh, everything is going to change. Everything has to change, or we are not going to survive. And so then it's dropping stuff. So then it jumps over into here. I think it might be here that's the mirror moment. This one might be. I'm not sure. So what happens between here? So there's a big old gap between the end of this book and this book. There's literally a 300-year gap. My characters are immortal. It's fine. But there's a big old gap and a lot of drama that happens. And we jump into this book in space. These books are fairies in space. These books are, well, something else. You'll find out when we get there. So, and it's in between these two books that the whole world completely flips on its head. And I'm very excited about it, but I want to be able to write notes about it. So anyway, I'm going to stop gushing about my books. But one of the things that I really desperately wanted to make sure that I was keeping track of were these overall series arcs, which I had nowhere to keep track of. And I also really wanted to just be able to take a sheet of paper, and write, okay, book 1, what are the threads that are introduced? What is resolved by the end of it? Book 2, what are the threads that are introduced? What's resolved by the end of it? And what's moving forward? And I had planned on creating those sheets in other notebooks, but the problem was they were too precious. I like the paper too much to use it. I don't want to mess it up. I want it to be nice. I want it to be fancy. I want to use stamps, and I want to use stickers, and I just want to plot my books. I just want somewhere where I can be as messy as I want to be, and I don't feel bad about it, and I don't feel like it's a waste. And this old sketchbook that I have not used in years is the perfect place to do that. On top of that, I get to write in big, bold Sharpie on this paper, which means that my eyesight, which is kind of starting to, I'm turning 40 this year. Everybody in my family has glasses. I probably need glasses. I have some reading glasses, but they kind of work and they kind of don't. I get headaches after using them. They make me kind of nuts. So I haven't been using them. And I don't want to have to pull out glasses every time I want to plot. So being able to write in big, bold black, as much as I don't really like it that much, is letting me see a lot easier, which is very easy. It's pleasant on the eyes at the moment because I need glasses. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to edit this video and then I'm going to be throwing it up. It is the middle of the week. It is Wednesday this morning. This video is supposed to be up today. But it is spring break and I have not gotten anything done this week that I wanted to get done, other than I've gotten a couple of episodes edited and then my brain went, oh, hey, you've got ideas for over here. Because that's how that works. So anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to be posting next week. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another writing vlog. My writing vlogs are just not very popular. So I might just be doing something else. I don't know what. I have no idea. But I will definitely try to be back next week. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you then.